Ever wondered what people did for entertainment in medieval England, long before Netflix or even Shakespeare? Today, I'm diving into the fascinating world of mystery plays, one of the earliest forms of English drama and, honestly, a pretty wild chapter in theater history. So what exactly are mystery plays? Picture this. It's the 14th century, and towns across England are buzzing with excitement. Once a year, the streets transform into open-air theaters. Local craftsmen and guilds, bakers, carpenters, tailors, come together to act out stories from the Bible. These weren't just single scenes. They were epic cycles covering the entire biblical narrative. Think the creation of the world, Noah's Ark, the Nativity, and the dramatic Passion of Christ. Famous cycles from towns like York and Wakefield show just how ambitious these productions were. So, in essence, a mystery play is a religious drama performed by everyday people for everyone in town to see. Now, where did these plays come from? The roots go back to the church. Originally, priests acted out small Bible scenes during services to help the congregation visualize the stories. But these performances became so popular they moved out of the church and into the town square. As they grew in scale, local trade guilds took over production. The language also shifted from Latin to the everyday English of the people, making them more accessible and turning them into massive town-wide festivals. Inside the church, priests would act out short biblical scenes, a powerful way of helping people, most of whom couldn't read, understand the sacred stories. But these simple performances were too popular to stay indoors. Over time, they grew bigger and moved out into bustling town squares as lay people and guilds took over production. By the 1300s, mystery plays were massive public events, often staged during the feast of Corpus Christi, where the whole community would gather. They were performed in cycles, a series of short plays telling the whole cosmic story. You'd see everything from the creation and the fall of Adam and Eve to Noah's Ark, the Nativity, and the Passion of Christ, all culminating in the Last Judgment. Each local trade guild took on a play matching their craft. So the shipwrights would stage Noah's Ark, complete with a homemade boat, while bakers might take on the Last Supper. Crucially, the language was English, not Latin, making the stories accessible to all. The performances were lively, funny, and even a little cheeky, blending sacred scripture with down-to-earth humor. These epic collections of short plays, known as cycles, dramatized the entire Christian story. The most famous surviving cycles come from the English towns of York, Chester, and Wakefield. Originally, these dramas were simple scenes performed inside churches by priests. But as they grew in popularity, they moved into the public square. Local trade guilds took over, each sponsoring a play. The bakers might stage the Last Supper, while shipwrights took on Noah's Ark. The York Mystery Plays, a massive cycle of 48 plays, were famously performed on pageant wagons that rolled through the city streets. These plays covered everything from the creation in Adam and Eve to the Nativity, the Passion of Christ, and the Last Judgment. But they weren't always solemn. The Wakefield cycle is known for clever writing and memorable characters, like the Second Shepherd's Play, which mixes the sacred story of the Nativity with some good old slapstick comedy. By taking drama out of the church, these plays paved the way for new forms like morality plays and eventually the works of William Shakespeare. Their impact is still felt today. When communities come together to tell a story, you can trace that spirit back to those bustling medieval streets. So next time you're at a local play, remember, you're part of a powerful tradition that's been entertaining people for over 700 years. And that's the real mystery, how stories keep bringing us together century after century.